A Minecraft update that was supposed to release last Tuesday has gone back from release candidate to pre-release status, and this is supposedly so they can address some of their more noticeable issues. That is a direct quote, and my immediate thought is like Wordfish Trombone, I'm envious of the fact that Java players can totally freak out when Minecraft announces something, even if that something is supposedly to protect more vulnerable players. And this is a really interesting point that, yeah, the Java community did make a big enough deal that they've managed to basically roll back the update, delay it until they fix the concerns. And you might think, if you're not a Java player, oh, I guess the job's a good one, but it sounds like they actually haven't addressed the biggest of concerns. In fact, they've just made the update, the concerning censorship for Java, even more enforceable. And I'm kind of in two minds about this. One of my minds says, well, this is how it is on the Bedrock Edition already, and this is something every multiplayer game has, a moderation system that is centrally done, where you can get banned if it's decided you've said something that's not good enough or is in breach of some rules. But on the other hand, Minecraft's been going for 13 years. Is now really the time to be adding this secure chat system? Is this really going to be benefiting anyone? Those are the two minds I'm kind of in, and it's kind of nice, I guess, to be out on the sides here. But also, I do think that, Stubbly Tuna asks, do you think chat moderation is being implemented in Java as a small step of a plan to Microsoftify the game like Bedrock? No, I really do think this is just partially a legal concern for them. Partially, it's just people saying, oh, there's so much harassment, and we want to make sure Minecraft is always a safe and wonderful space, including on the Java edition. But partially, I do just think this is an issue with Mojang reading the room with regards to what the community actually want from something. We've seen this, a few times in recent years, and I guess it makes sense. Maybe they've done a lot of hiring, they've got a lot of new people, both in development roles and at managerial roles, and so maybe a lot of people working on the game don't necessarily realize what it is the community expects, and maybe because the community is changing, even the community doesn't know what they want as a whole until something happens and they agree or disagree, which must be a really confusing place to be if you're Mojang trying to work out what to put in your game. Anyway, speaking of Mojang, if they called me tomorrow, if Jeb specifically asked me, hey Toycat, we need help deciding between the end update and the Aether update for 1.20, and you're going to get the deciding vote, which should we do? And the clear answer is I'm going to say, how did you get my number? I don't believe you're Jeb. Please hang up and don't call this number again. That's what I'm going to be saying. But assuming that, he speaks to me in person, it turns out Jeb is a super fan of the IBX Toycat channel and he really trusts my guidance. I would say that Minecraft as a game, as an artistic piece, probably needs an end update more to round out that that dimension to kind of match the quality of the other two dimensions and what's going on in there. However, I would say if you want to please the community, if you want to, make for the best YouTube thumbnails for your boy over here, needs them views, I would say the Aether update is going to be more exciting. The Aether update is going to raise more mysteries because ultimately in games, although it's better to round out things that already exist, that's the more complete way to do things. People just love new content. They want it thrown at them all the time. People would rather have a useless panda than a useful update coming back and going for the turtles, because new and novel is what humans get excited by, it seems. Speaking of being excited by things, something I'm not excited to say, because How to Minecraft says, please make a video on Technoblade, and it would have been really easy for me to do precisely this. Make a whole video about the Minecraft YouTuber who died, cash in and pretend like I know him so much from watching these YouTube videos, but instead, how about we talk to people who have actual experiences? I mean, Jay Schlatt will never forget the day that he met Technoblade, and, he thinks he's always going to be a legend. I mean, Captain Puffy says that he always treated them with pure kindness and never excluded them from anything. Couldn't have been a kinder person. From Tommy Innit, Technoblade is a legend. I mean, looking at Ludwig, I've been rewatching Technoblades for the past hour. He was so witty and so humble, even in the toughest of times. I'll always look up to him, rest in peace. I mean, just looking at people who had a personal impact on, the family going through all the effort to make and post a video posthumously for him. Clearly a good guy who had a big impact on everyone in his life, and that's the much more important thing than the details of the death or when or why or how. Life is just about the differences you make on the world while you're here, and hopefully you make one as big as Technoblade one. I don't think there's going to be a possible good transition, but, this is Q&A Saturday. Ultimately, we could sit here all day and, we could milk the title and thumbnail, make it all about Technoblade, and I'm sure that'd be a very good way to make a little bit of extra money, get some extra attention myself. But instead, I think it's important to do what we came here to do, to continue to hopefully provide what you enjoy on your Saturday. And in today, that's going to include me answering the question from Duck: do you think 1.20 will be the true wild update? And this is such an interestingly worded question, and I think it really just shows the flaw in calling 1.19 the wild update. I mean, the most successful updates before that, Aquatic Update, the Never Update, Caves and Cliffs, they focused on what was being updated, and then they kind of could grow or shrink from there based on it. The wild update sounds like an amazing big collection of features eclectically all across the game, and so when the wild update turned out to be the Damp and Dark update, I think that's a big part of why people were disappointed. I think 1.20 has to make sure they don't call themselves something like the big update that changes everything and then change two things. I think that is the real thing to learn here. I don't think it will be the true wild update. I think it will go in a very different direction, and I think that's a smart thing that I really hope they choose to do. But again, it's not publicly known, and I think as a fun fact, for I think one or two of the Minecraft updates, they let a few creators know what it was ahead of time, but then it turns out some of those people weren't so smart and started leaking it, and so I don't think anyone outside of Mojang will know about this update before 1.20 comes out. That's actually exciting as a community because it means we can all speculate on a level playing ground rather than some people being like, oh, I know what the next update is, but I just can't tell you. Speaking of the next update, Jack Scav says, do you agree with the suggestion of adding more inventory slots or making items stackable to a higher number? If yes or no, why? I do think that because Minecraft has so many new items coming with every update, especially ones that are easily obtainable in the early game, we need to have better storage solutions. Chestboat, good idea. Bundle, good idea. I think, though, that adding better, higher stacks isn't the greatest of things. Maybe that's something you could enchant later, enchant your inventory to make it hold more things. But I think what would be a much better idea is if there were more inventory slots. We could make this a backpack that's a wearable item. I don't know why Mojang is allergic to that idea. We've seen literally millions of people suggest that, and they don't want to add it. So, okay, no backpacks, that's fine. It's not about the backpack. It can instead be about, adding some other, inventory increasing item, maybe just trousers that have pockets on. Wouldn't that be cool if wearing leather pants gave you a couple of extra item slots? I'm just saying, there's all sorts of ideas that I'd like to see them play around with, and I think given that we only really have the shulker box as our best inventory adder, and it's kind of tricky to get, and it's very late game, we need something that is earlier game and solves the actual issue. Speaking of the actual issue, Edamame Lord says, why didn't you get the packed mud and mud bricks for your 100% of 1.19? I don't acknowledge this question, and so the next one comes in from Duncan Wall. Does the recent completing 1.19 count as Let's Play? So, obviously, just by the way, if you're curious as to the mud brick thing, I was looking at the big list of 1.19 items. I have no idea how I missed mud brick on there every single time I was checking it. I guess I just thought they were so easy to get that I'd already done it, or they were so easy to get I didn't need to think about it. It wasn't a struggle like getting a Skulk Shrieker or anything, or getting frog lights, and so I just totally zoned out and forgot. I mean, does it make a difference? It kind of does. I should go at them at some point. Also, yeah, that was a Let's Play in my opinion. Something, an announcement I want to make here, because I think I've only said it on streams, is I think that the Let's Play is one of my favorite series. It's the longest running on this channel. It's gone for a whole 10 years as of a couple of months from now. However, clearly times have changed. On YouTube, seeing a half an hour video that takes, 10 minutes to edit, and then, getting out, like a big long form piece of content that is unedited is not what people love so much. People want to see hyper fast, here is 20 hours of content edited down to 4 seconds. And, although that there is a space for that too, I do think that the Let's Play needs to evolve those times. I can't do it every single week. I can't just do the, hey, here's what's on my mind format for 48 minutes. But I do think it'd be fun to do that format, maybe once a month or so, or once, have a super long, just here is me doing a big thing. I think the live streams kind of supplant that role. And so one point, Let's Plays, we have to go kind of bigger on. We have to have a bigger purpose and actually have more time, effort, goals, more interesting concepts that work in thumbnails. It's something that the YouTube analytics say I need to do. And ultimately, on YouTube, it sucks, but you're beholden to the algorithm gods. If your videos aren't even showing up in people's subscription feeds or homepages unless enough other subscribers are clicking the videos, you need to appeal to those subscribers, regardless of whether that's true. Sure, we can work out better ways to do this, and I think memberships and the whole thing over there sort of works, but ultimately, no. Yeah, as a whole, the YouTube subscription service means I have to care about whether you click on a video, which is why I have to care about your favorite ice cream flavor art is cool, and do you like jazz? By the way, weird combination of things. But here's something I have to admit. This is my bougie confession. I love ice cream a lot. It's one of my favorite snacks, but I can't just eat ice cream that is a plain flavor, whether it's in a cone or a cup. That's so boring. I literally cannot enjoy ice cream unless it's filled with like cookie dough chunks or pieces of cake, or so it has to be something actually in there that's enjoyable. The fish food flavor is pretty good, right? I just cannot enjoy just here's chocolate ice cream. No, get that chocolate ice cream out there. I'm not wasting my dessert on that. I need it to be like, okay, this is a chocolate ice cream. It's got some nuts blended in there. Also, the cone is made out of cookies too. And there's some chocolate fudge cake pieces in there. That is what I need in my life. And yeah, I don't know if this is just like, I don't know, the hedonistic treadmill where I've gone so far and I keep on getting bigger and better. But it seems to be that, yeah, I need more and bigger and better ice cream. And it's a whole problem. Anyway, so here's an important question, Halite Blade. If the Deep Dark portal is added in a later update, how do you think it would be opened? And this is a really fun one because we've spoken so much about what could be on the other side of the Deep Dark portal. Side note, all we know, I want to re-clarify, is that the portal is called a portal. I mean, technically, there's lots of portals to things that aren't dimensions, but the Deep Dark City portal, the Ancient City portal, is called an Ancient City portal, and we do know that there is a mystery around it. Whether that mystery will be solved, we don't know. I wouldn't expect it to be 1.20, but if it is going to be solved, if there is something on the other side of it, how do you think it would be opened? I mean, how could you activate all those hardened deep slates, reinforced deep slates? How could you do that? I think that the flint and steel method is probably not going to be it. I think there's going to have to be some form of a sacrifice that happens in the middle there. I think given, Minecraft's Froglight experiment, if it turns out that they like that game design and it's a good thing, it could be something really niche. Like there's a new mob that if you kill in the center of the portal, then it activates something. You could do all sorts of things like that. I think it's not just going to be something as simple as, ooh, light it on fire. Just throw one item in there. I think it's going to have to be something complex to make something much more interesting. Speaking of much more interesting, now is a good time to mention, by the way, Dan K. Minecraft's question. Seriously? 2 mugs for $30 is an awesome deal, plus their Toy Cat mugs? Question mark, question mark, question mark. How could you possibly go wrong with that? And, now's a good time to mention the We Will All Die Someday mugs. You really do get 2 of them for $30, and a few people have been saying that's aged poorly, but I think now is the time, more important than ever, that, the message isn't meant to be like a joke, like, ha ha ha, we all die someday, but that's not a real message. No, it is a real message. We will all die someday. It's a dark thing to think about, but having it be in these, colorful messages can help you actually wrap your head around it, rather than seeing death as the big bad thing that you've got to hide from and you've got to not think about as long as you can. Instead, just accepting it and understanding that it's a real thing is important. And that's why I love these mugs. That's why I love this, style of design. Very serious things said in super lighthearted ways, because ultimately that is what we need in the world. We need lighthearted messages to help us grapple with the deeper things underneath. How are we going to deal with the complexities of why is our universe? How did we get here? How did what happens afterwards? Is it just black? All of these things are so scary. So just address them every now and then. Say to yourself, you know what? The confusion and the uncertainty about all of it is why you need to live your best life now. You need to make sure that you make today the best day it can be, and that is something that you can do. Also, you could go to ibxtoycat.store, and you could make a week from now the best day you have, because you'd have this new great mug. But no, more seriously, I think it is important to say that every single day matters. And there's something crazy that happens. It's not going to be someone famous that you know from watching their Skywars videos or whatever. But it's something just that tragic happens every single day, 5 times as many as often. There's probably a dozen things that have happened within a 10-mile radius of you that are just as bad. And ultimately, that is just the reminder that life is a tragedy if you look at it from close enough. But that's why it's important to take your time to appreciate what you do see and to make sure that you have a good day, because I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.